Hi everyone, I'm Firewalker, and I'm here with the Fifth Lord Silence.
Also known as a shadow today.
You're not even a shadow at the moment. It's completely dark now.
Racist.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I hear everything. I am silence after all.
I don't think silence means you'd be able to hear anything. I don't. I think you're applying it a little more liberally than
My
makes
name,
sense.
I get to do whatever I want with it.
Touche. Touche. All right. Well, silence. I think we're both in the Bible Belt, right?
Yes, you are. Well, we're both from Tennessee, the state that wants to make the Bible the state book.
Amongst other things, but yeah. So yeah, we're in the pretty Christian part of the Bible Belt. I personally think Alabama is worse, but some would disagree.
Yeah, I'll say Kentucky's in the running because of Ken Ham.
I don't think so. I haven't heard of Kentucky doing anything really stupid lately, so
That's true, except for keeping Ken Ham.
yeah, but they're a really northern southern state, so I don't think it counts. But it looks like, I mean, we're both handling being an atheist in the South in a different way, a different strategy.
And
So,
also, we had different upbringings.
yes,
Because, like in your videos, you talked about you being at a Christian private school, pretty
right.
much. And me, I've been to public school my whole life.
Really?
Yeah,
What was that? What was that experience like for you?
crummy education. And it's pretty much dealing with the same people over and over again. After a while, like all things, you learn learn like all these subtle nuances of high school.
Right.
Like which group of people are most likely to be annoying to you, which group of people you don't really care about either way. So whatever they do, I don't really care. They can do whatever they want. Doesn't affect me. And then there's that small group of people that are your friends. So,
Well, you're lucky. That was not my experience at all. It was pretty much people who are going to be annoying, the people who don't care about either way, and the people who don't care about you either way.
yeah, well, that's pretty much like it. But back in my high school, there was this fellowship Christian something in there. Anyways, I was part of it only because it got me out of the cafeteria in the mornings. Because the cafeteria is packed, and I do not like being in like packed areas with lots of people. If I
Yeah.
do have to be in an area with lots of people, I want to be on the outside. Because to me, I always want to know how to get out of any situation. If something goes down, I want to get out.
Is this like a social thing, or you're planning
It's just
as if something crazy was going to happen?
some crazy going to happen, and I might have slight claustrophobia. Because it only pops up generally if I'm like in a small area with lots of people. But if I'm in the area with the same amount of people, but it's open, I don't really feel it as much.
Okay, so
It's like
that
just a
makes
little nagging feeling in the back of the head.
so is that the Fellowship of Christian Athletes?
No, not athletes, something else. None of us were athletes. Well, one of us might have been one.
Okay. So
But
then,
but we didn't do much either. It's like at the beginning, when I first started going, we were reading this book called The Shack. Just
oh
listening
yeah,
to it was really bothersome, especially when we got to the whole trilogy bit. But after a while, we stopped reading that. We didn't even continue. I'm like, man. So all we did was just go in, sit around, and talk about
well,
random
spoiler alert.
things.
Spoiler alert. I've heard a lot of Christians have issues with that book because God ends up being a woman.
I have no issue with it because I can understand the point of view. It's like African women, human beings in evolutionary terms, started off in Africa. God being women kind of makes sense. And that if we're going with that kind of humanity's birthplace, so
Yeah. Either way. So then, why is it that you're a shadow right about now then?
well, I have no leg to stand on really, because I'm at college full time. My mom's paying for my like education, and I really don't want that to. I want to wait until I have stable ground before I come out of the shadows. I want to be able to stand on my own 2 feet in case the worst case scenario happens.
Well, then I would suggest you stop spraining your ankles. But that's just
Oh,
me.
good times.
So, what do you think would happen then if you told your parents that you were an atheist?
Well, my dad probably wouldn't care because how he reacted when I came out as a secularist, because he said don't join any over religious groups, and I told him I was in the secular student alliance because there was a joke I was building up to, and he's like, secularism, is that some sort of religious thing? I'm like, no. In the most basic terms, is this: church over there, government over there, giant wall of China in between, Great Wall of China in between. It's like, okay, I like that idea. The pretty much separation of church and state, he's okay with that. So
Wow, that's a novel idea to me because I was not taught that in school or at home. I mean, we were the bring prayer back into church group. My prayer back into school group. So, so that's really cool that your dad
yeah,
feels that way.
my dad's originally from one of the northern states,
Um,
not northeast, but more kind of northwestish.
okay.
I mean, it's in the middle, somewhere in the middle of Tennessee, some kind of north from here.
Oh, of Tennessee.
Yeah, north of Tennessee. It's like one of the I states.
Oh, gotcha.
So, but
Okay.
my mom, on my family, we had this. We are technically a clan from Ireland. We're just like descendants of it, and the bulk of them, my family, and this side, on my mom's side, lives down south, and only it's like a small branch lives up north, and a small group lives out west. And one, whenever it's Christmas, whenever family reunion, you always go off to church for Christmas mass on Christmas Eve. And I remember this one time we were on vacation, can't remember where, but bottom line, we were taken to this church because that was near to a hotel we were staying at. And I was listening to the pastor. It said, each and every one of you are here because it's God's plan. I'm listening to it's like, you might not want to be here, your parents might drag you, but God wants you here. I'm like, I literally want to bang my skull against that organ. I did everything, and like at the end of that, I had like very little, like there's like very little protection between me from snapping, like going off and feeling I'm an atheist. So I'm like, just get me home. I want to play a video game. I want to watch a violent movie as a first stress relief. I should have brought my Xbox, but I didn't because I don't
So,
like traveling with it.
so do you really think that your mom, I guess, would withdraw support from you if she knew you were an atheist?
I don't really think so because she's loving, is always accepting, and there's like other things that personal things are to her that I'm kind of guessing at, but I don't want to reveal
Okay.
because it's not my thing to tell.
All
So I
right.
think she'll be okay with it, but my nature is to always have a plan B for worst case scenarios, and
Mm-hmm.
right now I can't even have plan B set up very
Gotcha.
well.
So it's just not worth the risk.
Not at the moment.
And then you have some siblings, right?
Uno.
Okay.
One sibling,
Well,
he's older than me.
would your hypothetical sibling happen to be an atheist as well, or
No. I think he's more aligned like a, what's the word? Kind of deist would be the best way to describe him, because I remember him saying he doesn't really like the idea of church, but he still believes in sky fairies.
okay? So it sounds like he's kind of moved away from
From
religion as
organized.
well.
No, he's less organized, but he's moved away from organized religion, I think. I don't really talk religion with him because I like, no, I don't even want to go in that.
How have
I
your
was like,
parents responded to him?
no, he is. Well, our mom, after a while, a few years back, we just stopped going to church, and mom just didn't bother, didn't say anything about it. But
Really?
yeah, it's like over time we just weeded out because my parents are divorced, so we always like every other weekend we were there. Like we were originally in Sunday school. After he graduated high school, but I was still going to Sunday school. After he graduated, it's like we're like, no, there's no point for you to go to Sunday school because you miss every other one, and when you're there, you're taking some pointless. We're taking a test. In my opinion, was a completely pointless test.
A test in
It's
Sunday
Sunday.
school?
I don't know, some weird stuff. Like they're supposed to go over something, and then we have a test over it, but nothing happened afterwards. I'm like, so ultimately we stopped going. And I remember, like, if memory serves, that some of the church members said that I still had to go because I was in school, in public school. I was still going to school, so I still had to go to Sunday school. It's like you have no right to dictate that I have to go to Sunday school or not.
Yeah. So, how long have you been an atheist, did you say?
Let's see. Since third grade, I graduated high school in 2011. So subtract about 9-ish years. No, yeah, 9-ish years from that.
Yeah,
About 2002, give or take.
so a decent amount of time. And
And for the
well,
most part, I didn't exactly know that was what the word atheist was. All I knew I didn't believe in God.
okay.
So, like, I remember at least I tried to regain faith twice. Like, the first time I did, was like, all right, I'm going to do this. Nope. Still bullshit. Second time, all right, I'm going to try it. Nah, never mind. I'm going to do it.
Just didn't work. So I mean,
So,
points for at least trying. You can't say you didn't
yeah.
try.
Yeah, I tried, but I'm like, nope. And the whole transition is like going from third grade till last year, before I found the atheist community on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
Like in the early years, I was like more like I wrote down this book, especially my what's the word? Starts with an F, has two E's, has an L. Feelings, feelings. Anyways, right there, I was pretty much saying if God had two, if Adam and Eve were the only two humans, then everyone afterwards would be incest,
Yeah.
would have been inbred.
Yeah.
Okay, the Noah's flood, same thing. How's that possible? Who cares? So, a little bothersome. I think I burned it. I got rid of the evidence.
So you've been an atheist for a while. You at least you went to public schooling. So was that easier to connect with other atheists?
I did not know of any atheists when I was in public school.
You know any?
Didn't know any.
Not a single one.
Nope. My friends were Christians, varying from Catholic, Protestant, and I had a Baptist friend.
Baptists are still Protestants.
And I thought, they're Christians. I can't tell the difference between Catholic and Protestant. I know is
Well,
one
there
that
isn't
believes.
one. You
There's
can.
I know the difference between a Protestant and Catholic is the Catholic will pray the saints and Protestants say they won't. That's all I know. There's a difference.
What? What's the difference?
I think like Protestants both pray the saints and Catholics will pray the saints.
Yeah, that's one of the differences. Protestants also tend to shy away from being really ritualistic, and they don't believe in purgatory. They don't
Yep.
believe in penance. They shy away from priests, that's for sure. Um,
Sorry, I was thinking of Ray Comfort. For some reason, that guy popped in my head. I'm glad I never met him. Hope I never meet him.
okay. So, I mean, there are a lot of differences between Protestants and Catholics, and I don't really think that the rivalry has died down entirely.
No, there's a whole bunch of no true Scotsmen and stuff.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, I know
I was
when I
raised Catholic, kind of. I say kind of because I'm only Catholic because I went to Catholic church.
Huh.
But whenever like Protestants go off or any other Christian here in America go off and say that Catholics are not Christian, I'm like, you dumbasses. They are. They believe in Jesus. They believe in the Holy Spirit. They believe in God. They believe in the Jewish zombie stories. They believe the same voodoo you do.
The
So
same.
whenever, yeah, so whenever I see like categories, like which are you, Catholic, Christian, Muslim, Jews, Buddhist? I'm like, wait a second. The first two are one. Why are there two categories here?
I know when I was growing up, I honestly did not believe that Catholics were Christian.
Oh. Yeah, so like it's funny. The best way to explain it is like this. All Catholics are Christians, but not all Christians are Catholics. Just like
Right.
all tuna is fish, but not all fish is tuna.
Or just like all Baptists are Protestant, but not all Protestants are Baptists.
Yeah, but I bet we can vigilant Christian won't say that.
No, I'm sure Baptists are going to hell. I don't know which denomination he belongs to, but they're obviously the right one.
Well, he belongs to the one with the fancy haircuts.
Poor kid, he got a lot of flack for that haircut. I don't think it was that bad.
It's a cool haircut, but I'm like,
It's pretty cool.
but with that goatee,
I like the goatee.
I
Hey,
yeah, when I first saw it, the part of the brain that does pre-judgment, the
yeah.
pre-judgment part of the brain, I'm like, is he gay? I'm like, wait, better watch to make sure. Nope, he's Christian.
Well, there are gay Christians. It's just
Yeah.
not in his denomination, apparently, or
No,
according to him.
yeah, it feels like
But
that haircut.
it looks awesome. You're just jealous.
Well, my hair does an afro kind of thing. Like when it gets thick, it gets like afro thick. You need sheep shears to cut it.
All right then. So you said, I mean, your friends were Christian, your parents were Christian, your brother was Christian. You went to church
Every other weekend.
every other weekend. So your dad didn't take you to church then?
No, I don't even know what denomination he's in, or if he's in one.
So you
Nope,
don't even know, like, he might not be Christian right now either then.
no clue. We don't really talk about religion. Other than it's like, don't join religious groups or overly religious groups. That only came up after the whole Charlie Hebdo thing
Oh,
incident, and after that, it's like didn't come again until I mentioned I was in Secular Student Alliance.
so he only found out about that recently.
No, that was like when it came out. Like, yeah, as soon as Secular Allowance, he figured out back there in spring break.
But that's still recently,
Yeah.
like a few weeks ago.
Yep.
So, I mean, maybe you'll be able to come out as an atheist to him relatively soon.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. So, how did it make you feel that you didn't know any other atheists in uh, high school and junior high?
I felt isolated in a sense because everyone else was like, I don't believe. So it's like really hard, and I'm like, can I trust anyone? Can I tell anyone this? Can't really go off and do this. So it was really kind of frustrating being isolated. So even when I got to college, for my first few years, I like isolated. Well, the good news is I didn't have to pay over my food. So
Yes.
ultimately, like remember when I saw the Student Secular Alliance poster? I was walking to get food, or I was walking back from class, and I stopped and looked at the poster board with all these random posters on it, and I saw the Secular Students Alliance poster, and it's like saying like do you believe that you can be good without God? Do you believe that church and state should be separate, and all so on and so forth? Do you feel like the Bible would be better without the religion being used to dictate? Memory search. Can't remember all there. 20 secular student alliance. This date, this time, this room. I looked at it. It was on Wednesday. I was looking at it on Monday. I said, you know what? I'm going to be bored that day, so I'm going to go and check it out.
I'm gonna be bored that day.
Yeah, I know when I'm going to be bored in the future. It's a talent.
Some might say it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
And I would say because I'm just lazy.
Okay.
So I went there. It was a real fun. And it was also the time when that Bill Nye Ken Ham debate happened. So I'm like, I was figured when I heard about it, I'm like, I want to go check this out. So I found it online and I watched it. And off in the recommendation side, there was atheist videos. I was like, click. I was watching. It's like I started watching The Amazing Atheist, Mr. Repzion, and Jacqueline Glynn.
The three really big ones, yeah.
And Dark Matter 2525, Thunderfoot, and Aaron Raw.
Yeah.
Started watching them. Over time, I was watching all their series, their playlists, with videos. And over time, I started watching more and more atheist channels. That was really hard for me to keep up with in my mind. And plus, it was really hard to tell when the new one came out, so I decided over Christmas break, I would make last winter, make a YouTube channel so I can just subscribe to them, so I can keep up with everyone.
Did you really only make a YouTube account over Christmas?
Yeah. Or, well, I can't exactly remember when I exactly made it. Or, no, I started videos on there in January, so might pretty much if you go through your videos and find the first comment I made, that's around the time I made the channel or before. It's really hard for me to remember when I made the channel.
Yeah, I mean, you've been commenting on my videos for a long time. I think I've also seen your comments on Essence of Thoughts videos too.
Yeah, I popped in there. Yeah, he's the reason why I found your channel.
He's probably the reason at least half of my subscribers found my channel.
Yeah. So I went. So I think I think I might have made it sometime in the fall. Because I remember having annoying time set up the Google Plus. Like different technology.
So have you found more atheist friends, agnostic friends since you went to college?
Well, not until found Secular Student Alliance. And we hang out every Wednesday. And we just talk about those random things. Last week, we talked about Dragon Ball Bridge, Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge, Dragon Ball itself, Yu-Gi-Oh! Itself, and a bunch of other random stuff.
Sounds productive.
Yeah, I think that was just a lazy day. Last Wednesday, though, we had a Norse paganist over to talk about his religion. Oh yeah, it's pretty interesting.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, well, when we got there, the Gay Straight Alliance meeting was over. I came in, and we were sitting there. It's 8 o'clock. We're just going to start, and like 10 minutes passed, and we're just talking about random stuff. Me and one guy were talking. Two of the older members, they were sitting in chairs with their legs through the opening, scooting around. And our president was trying to get us to decide when to have the elections. And I just looked over at the guest speaker, and I just laid back on the row of chairs and looked at him. Don't worry, this is how it always is. We did this for about 15, 30 minutes. Then we were productive for about 10, 15 minutes, and it's back to doing this. But anyways, he got to talking. It's pretty interesting system. It's like, he's like said, in Northern paganism, you can believe in the gods, don't rely on the gods. So it's like, well, you believe in them, but you pretty much gotta do everything else on your own. And and he's like, he talked about the runes, the letters, and like they had like meanings to them, and each one
Yeah,
represented something. And he
usually.
told that there's this one rune that looks like, let's see if I can get my fingers, looks like this, kind of like a line with vertical line with two lines shooting off, going upward.
Okay.
And they said that was a symbol for um, luggage or safe travels, some of the protection of one's property.
That's neat.
And he said he put on all of his stuff, and when he's a combat medic, so he put on his stuff, and when they go, he was the only person who had very little trouble with his luggage.
Sounds like a very nice coincidence.
Yeah, I thought that, but he was a nice guy. He just seems like he said that North pagans are non-converting religion. In other words, they don't go off and do what Christians do.
Right.
So it's like, this guy's pretty cool. I
Leave
didn't
well
have
enough
no.
alone.
Yeah, he's like he didn't care that we were atheists. We didn't care he was North paganist is talking. And he pretty much made a comment, it's hard being North paganist in the Bible Belt, and we're like, we feel you. We feel you.
So most of the people in the secular alliance are atheists?
As far as I know, yeah. Atheist, agnostic atheist. We might have one anti-theist. So I think someone at the meeting last week was a foodist, probably. I don't know. He was a side part of the conversation.
So what do you think the most difficult thing of being an atheist in the Bible Belt is?
Well, fear of being ostracized by society. Like especially if you're like in more rural areas where might most likely find more religious people.
Right.
That could be a problem. And not to mention the whole misconception about atheists doesn't exactly help with the coming out and dealing with it. In my opinion.
Right. That makes it
So,
more difficult, especially when
yeah.
we're younger and we kind of still need our parents' help some.
Not to mention you don't know how to get your thoughts lined up to make a coherent argument. Especially for me, like some people are better at it than others, but for me it's like, how can I convey my ideas? Like it's one thing having my brain, but getting my mouth to do it so everyone can understand. It's not that easy.
I see. So when do you think you will tell your parents?
Probably after I graduate. I have like at least that's going to be at least another year at best. So, and
That's
plus
fair
that,
enough.
like, well, most
What's
likely nothing will happen. Hopefully.
what's your recommendation for other atheists in the South who, like you, aren't ready to come out with that? What's your advice?
Well, my advice would it's more like each person has to do it their own way. If like depends on how religious your family is. Depends on if you want to do it, but kind of got to be able to blend in, kind of like be able to go through the motions so nothing will happen. But if you can, if your parents are okay with you, don't have to go to church. I recommend not doing that. A lot of mental strain going to church and being an atheist for me. But also learn how to like build to I call it like psychic barriers, mental barriers. To help keep your motives from getting out checked whenever you find yourself in dealing with highly religious family members. So that's what I do. I also do that for high school. So, but each person, I'm afraid that it's something you have to figure out for the most part on your own. Because I'm still trying to figure some of the stuff out.
So, how important is networking?
Like communicating, finding people you're similar to you,
Yeah.
very important. Like if you just find them on YouTube or watch their channels, videos, just knowing that there's other people out there going through similar things as you are helps. Know that you're not alone. So it's like
Like,
if you, it's also having a channel you can leave comments and you have to just have discussions with our YouTubers. So
so it sounds like one of the biggest difficulties is the isolation.
yeah, for me it was
I think.
because before I found the YouTube Atheist, I was more grouchy. Best way to describe it. Like when I was in high school, I was more upset. I mean, because I was in high school, a bunch of people that annoyed me for other reasons, but I was still grouchy when I got out of high school because like the whole isolation business. But then having a finding the YouTube community really helped.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yep.
It's interesting that we've had two completely different experiences.
Yeah, it's like different upbringings.
Yeah.
It also helped the fact that there's private school was in a different county.
Like, oh yeah, how we didn't go to school
Yeah.
near each other.
Yeah, but you went to a private school, I went to a public school. Like the nearest private school, I think, was in the county below us.
Oh, I was in
So,
another state.
uh,
Yeah.
like, it's honestly, I know you went to private school was not all that fun after dealing with the aftermath. But my mom said she wanted to send us to a private school, but for some reason she didn't. So, lucked out there.
Well, good. Though it probably would have been a lot harder.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining me, and so we can talk about some of the more unique challenges of being atheists in the Bible Belt of all places. And it was
Yeah.
really great to hear some of your experiences as well and how they've differed from my own, which I've talked about a good bit. So it's always interesting to hear other perspectives.
Yeah. You're welcome.
So yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. I'm Firewalker, and
I'm the fifth floor silence.
whose room is now completely dark. I think he's waving. It's hard
Uh,
to tell.
no one can
But,
tell.
but thanks for joining us, and we will see you all next time. You can find the links to both of our channels in the description below.
Till next time.